Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right into it. Have you ever walked through the world feeling like, I don't know, you were built for a completely different era? It's kind of like you're carrying around this secret map that nobody else can read. And no matter how hard you try to explain the directions to people, they just look at you with total blank stares. For your entire life, you might have felt profoundly misunderstood. You've probably spent years wondering why things that seem absolutely crystal clear to you, like literally obvious, are completely invisible to everyone else. Well, I have some truly incredible news for you today. That feeling? It's not a mistake. It is definitely not a flaw in your design. Today, we are going to decode those lifelong feelings and show you a super simple, empowering reality. We're looking at 7 specific signs. And listen, if you do these 7 things, your personality type isn't just unique. It is literally the rarest in the entire world. So, let's start off with a really relatable scenario. Have you ever felt entirely alone in a crowded room? Picture this. You're sitting at a huge party. The music's bumping, there's loud laughter, people are chatting and mingling everywhere. It's super noisy. But deep down, sitting right smack in the middle of it all, you feel like you're on another planet. And it's not because people are ignoring you or being mean, not at all. It's just because it feels like you speak a completely different language. While everyone else is happily buzzing about the weather or what they had for lunch, your brain is just somewhere else. You're thinking about the deep mysteries of the universe, or you're quietly wondering how that person across the room is really feeling behind their forced, polite smile. There is just this massive contrast between the surface-level noise of the room and the quiet, echoing depth of your own thoughts. And because you think and feel on such a deep level, you've probably heard these phrases a million times. Oh, you're way too sensitive, or you're just too intense. Maybe well-meaning friends or family have literally told you that you care too much or that you just need to chill out and not take everything so seriously. But here is exactly what I want you to understand today. Noticing things that others just walk right past, that is not a bug in your system. It is a feature. It's an absolute superpower. You are not broken for feeling things deeply. What's actually happening is you're picking up on emotional signals that most people's antennas simply aren't strong enough to catch. The big secret behind why you feel this way actually boils down to 4 simple letters: INFJ. This is a personality framework inspired by the famous psychologist Carl Jung. INFJ stands for Introverted, Intuitive, Feeling, and Judging. Let's break that down super simply. Introverted just means your battery recharges when you're in a quiet, peaceful place away from the loud crowds. Intuitive means your brain is a big dreamer. It naturally connects invisible dots to see the big picture. Feeling means your heart makes decisions based on kindness, empathy, and how other people feel. And judging? That just means you like your role to be structured and planned out, rather than messy and unpredictable. These traits aren't flaws, guys. They are the hallmarks of a brilliant, highly tuned inner architecture. But just how special is this inner architecture? Well, check this out. Just a tiny 1.5% of the global population is an INFJ. Literally everyone else on Earth makes up the rest. Think about it like this. If you put 100 people in a room, maybe 1 or 2 of them will see the world the exact way you do. And honestly, those 2 are probably hiding in the kitchen talking to the host's dog. That is exactly why you feel so different. You have a highly specialized brain and heart. Being rare doesn't mean you're better than anyone else, but it absolutely means your specific way of processing reality is incredibly unique and very, very hard to find in the wild. Understanding how this rare brain actually works is the real game changer here. I want you to think of your mind as having 2 massive superpowers. First, you've got the magic puzzle solver. In psychology terms, this is introverted intuition. It basically means your brain is constantly solving invisible puzzles in the background. You can see the final picture on the puzzle box without needing to look at all the individual pieces. And your second superpower is the emotion sponge. Psychologists call this extroverted feeling. This means your heart is literally like a giant soft sponge. Whenever you walk into a room, you just automatically soak up all the happy or sad feelings of the people around you. When you combine a magic puzzle-solving brain with a sponge-like heart, you get someone who is breathtakingly perceptive, but also quietly exhausted. Okay, so let's get right into our countdown. Sign number 1 is the absolute defining trait of that magic puzzle solver brain. Sign number 1. You see the end before others even see the beginning. Because your brain is always connecting the dots in the background without you even trying, you often know what's going to happen long before it actually happens. Have you ever met someone for the very first time, and within, say, 5 minutes, you instantly knew exactly how the relationship was going to pan out? Or maybe someone pitches a brand new idea at work and everyone is cheering, but you quietly realize exactly why it's going to crash and burn 6 months down the road. You literally see the destination while everyone else is still trying to figure out where the road starts. Now, people might call you a downer for this, right? They might tell you you're just being cynical. But actually, scratch that. This is not pessimism. This is pattern synthesis. You're not being negative, and you certainly aren't just making lucky guesses. Your mind is basically a supercomputer. It is constantly downloading thousands of tiny little clues, like a specific tone of voice, a micro-expression on someone's face, stuff from the past, and it puts them all together so fast that it literally feels like magic. It's this deep, unconscious system doing incredible emotional math in the blink of an eye. Which brings us right along to sign number 2.
Sign number 2. You notice things others walk right past. Imagine you're walking down a busy street in the middle of the day. The other 98% of people, they're just looking straight ahead, totally hyper-focused on getting from point A to point B. But you're noticing the little bird resting on the street lamp. You see the hidden sadness in the cashier's eyes when they hand you your receipt. You notice the tiny shaky shift in your friend's breathing right before they say, "I'm fine," even though their shoulders are completely tensed up. Your inner engine is just built to pick up on the tiny, hidden, beautiful, and sometimes tragic details in everyday life that the rest of the world completely misses.
And that observation skill feeds right into the emotion sponge part of your personality, covering signs 3, 4, 5, and 6. Sign 3, you feel emotions incredibly deeply. When you're happy, you are absolutely flying. And when you're sad, it's a literal physical ache. Because of that depth, we hit sign 4. People label you as too intense or too much. Sign 5 is that you instantly absorb the mood of any room you enter. If someone in the corner is secretly angry, you feel that anger buzzing in the air like a wasp. And sign 6, you carry an unbearable weight of responsibility for others. It is exactly like you're wearing a heavy backpack filled with everyone else's problems, and you're just desperately trying to fix them because your heart simply cannot ignore their pain.
And finally, we arrive at sign number 7, the one that really changes everything.
Sign 7. You were built for what is real. As an INFJ, you have absolutely zero interest in superficial things. You don't care about fake smiles, you hate endless small talk about the weather, and you're definitely not going to pretend to be someone you aren't just to get cheap applause. You crave deep, authentic reality. You want to know what people are truly terrified of. You want to know what they dream about and who they really are when the masks come off at the end of the day. You are seeking absolute truth in a world that, honestly, often just settles for pretend.
I want you to let this next thought really, truly sink in. You do not need to become less of who you are to survive this world. For so long, you might have tried to shrink yourself down. You might have tried to be less sensitive, less observant, less caring, just so you wouldn't feel so utterly exhausted and out of place all the time. But you have got to stop doing that today. Your intense, beautiful nature is a rare gift, and you should never, ever make yourself small just to fit into a world that doesn't fully grasp your depth. So the absolute biggest takeaway from this explainer is learning how to actually protect that gift. How do you live with such a sensitive sponge for a heart and such a fast-moving puzzle solver for a brain? First step, carry yourself with firm boundaries. Think of a boundary like an invisible protective bubble around you that gently says, "Hey, I love you, but I cannot fix everything for you." Step 2, learn to see deeply without absorbing everything. It's like watching a sad movie. You can totally understand the tragedy of the story without actually taking that sadness home with you. And step 3, protect your rare soul. Unapologetically take the quiet, alone time you need to recharge your batteries away from this noisy, demanding world. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question to think about. How will you build boundaries to protect your rare gift today? Look, being the rarest personality type in the world is a heavy burden for sure, but it is also the most extraordinary gift. Your deep empathy and your crystal clear vision literally make this world a warmer, much better place. So embrace your unique mind, put up your protective shield when you need to, and never apologize for seeing the world differently. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this explainer. Now go out there and celebrate the incredible, rare puzzle solver that you are.